Today, 4 U.S. senators just sent a letter to President Donald Trump urging him to suspend immigration into the United States even further. Make sure you stick around to find out exactly who would be affected. On April 22nd, President Donald Trump's proclamation suspended most immigrant visas into the United States for a period of 60 days. Due to the current state of the economy and the high rate of unemployment, 4 U.S. senators have just submitted a letter to the president asking him to suspend other categories of immigration into the United States. This potential new suspension would affect new non-immigrant visa applicants, those that are applying for OPT, as well as those investors in the EB-5 program. This letter was prepared by Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, Senator Charles E. Grassley of Iowa, and Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri. This letter was prepared in direct response to our country's recovery from the coronavirus pandemic. The letter states, "We write to urge you to suspend all new guest worker visas for 60 days and to suspend certain categories of new guest worker visas for at least the next year or until unemployment has returned to normal levels. These suspensions are critical to protecting American workers as our economy gets back on its feet." In support of their request, they state that more than 33 million Americans have filed for unemployment since mid-March. Approximately 1/5 of the American workforce is currently out of work. This is a stunning difference compared with the historically low nationwide unemployment rate of just 3.5% in February this year. The United States admits more than 1 million non-immigrant guest workers every year, and there is no reason to admit most such workers when our employment is so high. The letter goes on to talk about the presidential proclamation that suspended immigrant visas for 60 days, but they state that our guest worker programs, which were outside of the scope of that order, remain a serious threat to the U.S. labor market's recovery. So their solution is to suspend all non-immigrant guest worker visas for the next 60 days, and they state exceptions to the suspension should be rare, limited to time-sensitive industries such as agriculture, and issued only on a case-by-case basis when the employer can demonstrate that they have been unable to find Americans to take the jobs. So that puts a heavier burden on any employer seeking to petition for a non-immigrant to get them any sort of visa. The majority of non-immigrant visas don't require that. For example, the O-1 visa doesn't require that you test the labor market. The H-1B doesn't require that you test the labor market. So this would actually impose an additional burden as part of those non-immigrant visa processes. The letter further states, after 60 days, we urge you to continue to suspend new non-immigrant guest workers for 1 year or until our national unemployment figures return to normal levels, whichever comes first. Here's where they carve out exactly which visas should be included in the suspension. They state the suspension should, at a minimum, include H-2B visas, which are non-agricultural seasonal workers, and H-1B visas, the specialty occupation workers, and OPT. This is the extension of foreign student visas after graduation. So those international students, once they graduate, they're able to obtain OPT and work temporarily just to gain employment experience in the field. So they are specifically saying at a minimum, H-2B, H-1B, and OPT should be suspended. We also urge you to suspend the EB-5 immigrant visa program effective immediately. I don't know if you remember, but in the proclamation, there was a specific exception carved out for the EB-5 investor programs. But here, they're asking them to get rid of that exception and suspend EB-5 immediately. With respect to H-1Bs, they do state that, of course, appropriate exceptions could also be crafted to the H-1B program suspension to allow for doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals who wish to come to the United States to assist in combating the coronavirus pandemic. Additionally, the United States ought to suspend its optional practical training program, which allows foreign students in the United States to extend their stay in the U.S. after graduation to get experience in the field by taking jobs here in the United States. In 2019, more than 223,000 former foreign students had their OPT applications approved or extended. While the merits of such a program are subject to debate, there is certainly no reason to allow foreign students to stay 3 additional years just to take jobs that would otherwise go to unemployed Americans as our economy recovers. Unless they have another option with respect to obtaining permanent residency or a non-immigrant visa that hasn't been suspended, those international students, once you graduate, you can no longer stay in the United States. Here's where they talk specifically about the EB-5 program. Finally, in regards to your presidential proclamation issued on April 22nd, We write to urge you to remove the exemption for the EB-5 program, at least until real reforms are adopted. The EB-5 program has long been plagued by scandal and fraud and has been criticized as effectively functioning as a pay-for-citizenship scheme in many cases. There is no reason that the EB-5 program should receive preferential treatment as opposed to other green card programs for employment-based immigrants. The entire purpose behind the EB-5 investor program is to stimulate the economy. There are requirements that need to be met in order to be eligible to receive a green card through the EB-5 investment program. Not only must you invest a substantial amount of money, $1 million, into the U.S. economy, into a project, but that investment must yield a creation of 10 jobs. So that investment into the United States is stimulating the economy. So the fact that these senators put this in this letter in direct response to coronavirus and about the concern for the high unemployment rate, it seems misplaced. I think this was just an opportunity to throw that in there because I guess they were unhappy with the fact that the proclamation carved out an exception. So I think it's misplaced. I don't believe any action that would result from this letter would affect the EB-5 program because I just think it's misplaced. It doesn't belong with the concern for the high unemployment rate because once again, if you have foreign investment, millions of dollars into a program and are creating jobs, that's what we want right now. But anyways, I thought that was bizarre that they would even include that, but it was just a letter submitted today to President Donald Trump. Obviously, no action has been taken as of yet, but it'll be interesting to see what actually results from this letter. So I just wanted to bring that letter to your attention. We don't know as of yet if anything is going to result from it. I will definitely try to keep everyone up to date as the information comes in. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you turn on your post notifications by hitting that bell button. That way you can get notified each and every time I upload a new video. So the next time there's a new update, you'll be the first to know. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.